Welcome to Raw Painting. In this video series, we're just going to be painting miniatures. You're going to get a bird's eye view of me just painting miniatures. It's raw, uncut. We're going to post it as it's recorded, so there's never any telling what's going to be said. If you like watching miniatures being painted, if you've got tips, tricks you want to pick up, if you want to add any content in the comments below, I'll be happy to reply to them. And let's just jump in and paint some miniatures. All right, welcome back to Raw Mini Painting. We've been working on our Reaper Frost Giant. Of course, we're early in the videos, so keep watching progress. Video quality, sound, everything will get better. I'm hoping you enjoy the content. Of course, we started this from just a raw bones right out of the package and have been painting. So last time we did these gold bits, did around the loincloth with the yellow. You can see a little bit of cleanup needed. And we've been working on the fur. But he's continuing to get closer and closer. Additionally, on the arm, we went through and started working on the axe. So we did our base layers on the axe and then started to do a little bit of shading on that cloth wrap part, as well as some back to mid-tone highlights for the fabric. A little bit of work to go there yet. We're going to try to do more on that, but today I want to focus on what we had started. So we were working on the loincloth, laying in some lighter colors, and then the coins around. I think they look pretty decent for having a shadow to them. You can see in the light, the brighter ones, the higher up ones are a little bit lighter, so we're going to continue that trend and give them even more light tones and start edging them so that they start looking like gold. So I've already got my wet palette put up. Of course, if you're new to the video series, I am as well. I hope the content is enjoyable. Of course, with this video series of Raw, it's all about painting live. Maybe not live, but raw. We're not going to do, aside from intro and exit videos, I'm not going to do any fancy editing. I'm not going to do any additional audio. It is going to be all just raw painting. So all of this conversation that we're going to take over the hours that it's going to take to paint is all going to be just whatever comes to mind. Talk about some techniques. Probably learn a lot about me, I'm hoping. Hope that encourages you to subscribe and tell me all about yourself. Where do you find yourself in the hobby? I enjoy meeting people and talking to people who share common interests, whether it's tabletop role-playing, painting, crafting. Very excited to introduce myself to you and hear back from you. So if you've caught any of the earlier videos, you know this is a Reaper Mini in their bones material. Well, I've done a couple of different video formats on this. I was doing Facebook Live, but I had a few people comment that they prefer to see it on YouTube. So I moved it over to our YouTube channel, which is still growing. Like I said, we're very fledgling, so still got some growth to go. Hope you stick with it just for the content alone. The last time when we were painting on this with these gold coins, we were talking about where to start laying in some of the highlights, which coins were going to be brighter in color. And of course we established the light is going to be coming from the top of the mini. So you'll see lots of upper edge highlights that we'll be laying in. And this is my first time doing this over the camera. Like I said, we've been working to adjust some of our settings, make it as user-friendly as possible for people watching at home or at work. If you get the opportunity to do any video watching while you're at work, while you're relaxing, you'll see as these highlights come in. That's one of the challenges I have, is the cameras never seem to be giving minis the justice until you go to set up your professional lighting for photography. If you're posting for contests or on like the Cool Mini or Not forums, if you have Instagram for building up your portfolio, anything like that. Of course, there you're doing a little bit more marketing photography, which I don't do a whole lot. For me, I get a lot of minis for just my own use and then commissions. So unless I'm doing something that I just get inspired to do and then end up listing it for sale, I don't do a whole ton of miniature photography. Definitely not as much as I should. One of the followers called that out and asked if I had a Instagram to post these on, because I just recently did that in My Art Challenge and utilized one of the minis that I had painted, and had somebody ask if I had a Instagram so they could see more of my minis, and unfortunately I don't. I mean, I have an Instagram, but I don't post my minis there. Which I probably should, just for my own personal needs, but just not there yet. Time. We need about 32 hours more in a day for ourselves, I've decided. I think that's a good round number. 32 more hours a day for ourselves. After you put in the time at work, make sure you spend time with your families. Do a little bit of relaxing. Then you need to put in the time on yourself. So you've probably noted I've done a couple of these. I'm just going to keep calling them coins. Some of the highlights at the tops and some at the bottom. And that's just to distinguish which ones are to the front and which ones are behind. In case this is your first time watching one of these raw videos, depending on how it goes, if people seem to like the format and the content, after we're done painting this frost giant, we're going to move on to a fire giant queen. Maybe. We may move to a white dragon. I haven't decided which one is calling my name more. But both of them are Reaper bones. And both of them, of course, larger scale like this. I'm putting together another playlist of painting minis for some of my tabletop players. So I've only got one posted so far, but each time I GM a tabletop game, if it's going to be a multi-session campaign, all of the players will receive a miniature. Because I'm a miniature fanatic, anytime that we're getting together for gaming, I'm always happy to bring miniatures for the map tracking, progress tracking, combat, all of that. And I give one to each player. So it may not be the exact image of what their character looks like, but I try really hard to get it as close as possible so it's a good representation of their player character. But this newest campaign I have started, it's called The Last Light. And for the players, I've gotten there are 5 players. I've gotten their miniatures all picked out. And I had gone through, I've put them on their bases, I've cleaned them up, I've primed them, I've gotten them ready to paint. And then on the table, we'll use them just primered, and then when I start to paint them, I give them a substitute mini for the meantime. And then once it's painted, I bring it back and give it to them. And they can either choose to keep it and bring it home. They can continue to use it in the game. It's their mini. Because a lot of times people go and get a mini that they feel is a closer representation to their player character. And I'm definitely all for that. But it's just something that I like to do for my players. And I get a lot of fun with it. But so as I am working on painting this party's miniatures, I decided, you know what, let's make videos about that and show the progress. So that'll be posted in the same playlist that we're in now, or that these videos are featured in. And So the first one went up. We had some problems with the microphone. So at some point I've got to go back through and re-record the audio. But we've already started editing the second part to it. So I don't know exactly when we'll get to it. But I'm definitely happy to hear your feedback on whether or not you like it. My goal is for viewers at home, if you've got time to watch painting, they're all a little bit more edited, so they're not like raw. So they are going to feature sped up sections, and then there's audio over top. And really the goal for those is for somebody to see the minis go from primered status to painted and tabletop ready with a durable base over the course of the series. So you'll be able to see the entire party come to life from just primered minis to tabletop ready. Mini Mastery is what we're calling those videos. And then it's got the character's name attached to it and then what we're doing. So the first one is just focusing on flesh tones for the mini that were started, which is a half-elf paladin. Again, another Reaper miniature that we're using for it. This is a little challenging over top of the camera. I apologize. I may make some mistakes. Definitely don't hesitate to call them out, but just have patience with me as I go through, and because we're just starting to do more video, we're still in the learning process on a lot of aspects. So here on these coins, I just continue to go. I've got on my wet palette all the colors to do this progression, going from this antique gold up to pure white. And these last couple may look almost white, but they are actually, they're not. They're actually just continuing blended up of a canary yellow and you'll see as we get these brighter and brighter highlights, not everyone of these coins is going to get any attention. It all depends on where they're sitting in relation to each other so that we can differentiate levels. And again, I don't know how well that's going to show up on the camera. At the end of the video series, we'll have regular video, or I'm sorry, regular image of the finished product, and that one we will do a professional video, or I'm sorry, photo session. So you'll see all the details really in much better definition. And of course, because this is raw, painting raw, I don't have a script I'm going to go by. I don't have a whole ton of prepared talking points. Let me know in comments what you'd like me to discuss while we're going through this. with this model here, I actually can tell you I am excited to get to the base. I had a vision of what I want to do on the base that really got my mind going. I am looking forward to when we get to the base. We have just got to get through these major steps. That's one of the things you'll notice. I try to be pretty meticulous about my process, and there will be times where I bounce it around. I mean, we've seen that a little bit here, but like normally these small details I would wait until the very end, but timing wise it just seemed appropriate to start doing some of them. And just lots of really thin layers. Just pulling paint on it. These little bits here are probably the most meticulous you'll see. But that also is super important to be able to have a high quality mini. Again, I'm a glutton for a punishment because this one does not, it's not going in a competition, it's not a commission. This is one that I'm going to use myself. But you hear it all the time, anything worth doing is worth doing right. So I try to do a really decent job with my minis, even when they're for my own use. Just because other people will be seeing them. I mean, I'm going to have them on my shelf when I'm not using them in game, but when I go to use them in a game, my players are going to be seeing them. So I want these to be pretty decent. You can see there, that one I've got to go back through and do a little bit of cleanup. So in case you're wondering, yes, I'm wiping paint on I'm painting my thumb. It's one of the tips I learned from a Master Series painter who I used to use a paper towel to dab excess paint off, but I found that that pulls some of the water and just gets that brush tip drier faster. So by just utilizing my thumb to draw some of that excess paint off, it allows your brush to stay a little more moist, and it pulls that paint down to the tip, which is where you want it. You want it to come off at the tip and not the sides for most painting applications. When we do any edging, which we'll probably do on the axe, you'll see that change a little bit in that we will edge brush. Of course, with rock painting, you never know what you'll get for conversation. I hope it's worthy of your watch. That's all I can say. So there we've got all the way up to white on the highest points on the gold coins. Look at how that stands out from the grays. I mean, just a punch of detail right there, and color into that otherwise pretty flat area. So starting to see more and more. Some of the challenges, it really separates from those plates below. Now that I'm looking at it, it's one of the good things about painting is you're always looking at it, but it leads me to believe maybe we need to change the color of those plates underneath, just for even more distinction from the male skirt below. I don't know, something to think about, just something to think about. Hard to say. But last time, additionally, while we're letting those dry, of course we won't go back on those right now because we've got them up to their white highlights. I am going to go back to some of the fur, because as I was looking, and so this again is a linen white that I'm using. As I was looking, some of the fur, because this will also get highlighted up, we want to distinguish a little bit more of it from the shade, from the shadows that we dropped in 3 different steps. So I'm going in and touching up some of that linen white color. Now, last time I said I was not going to do individual hairs. You'll see I am doing a little bit of that here. And that is just on purpose because I do want a little more differentiation, just to have that linen white stand out a little bit more on some of them. And to tell you the truth, it's really less on the boots. I mean, I noted a couple areas, but overall it's a little bit more on the top of the cape, and especially to the front. I want a little bit more distinguishing colors there. But as I was spinning it around, I noted that the boots could use a little bit of it. Just to distinguish them out. Get that fur really standing out a bit more from its shade color. And of course, one of the challenges on these raw videos, I never know how long they're going to be. So again, I thank you for watching, and don't hesitate to give me feedback. Let me know, are they too long for you to sit through? Do you take them all in stride? Do you watch little bits of them? Because we're so new, we don't have a whole lot of analytics, so I can't see what's too much, what's not enough, because I can always break these down. If you're finding that they're too long not to watch, I would rather make some adjustments and keep all the viewers happy, because I can paint for hours and split it up into smaller videos and then just post more videos more frequently, or just even save it and have content for a few weeks at a time. So sound off in the comments. If you subscribe, I definitely appreciate it. Know that you will be entered into a contest to win one of our logo shirts when we hit 25 subscribers. We're going to do a drawing, and each of our subscribers is going to be entered in a drawing for a logo shirt. No purchase necessary. We're just going to give one away. Once we get to 25 subscribers. At that point, we'll reach out to you. We'll announce it, of course, in multiple videos, just so we make sure that we're getting a hold of you and that you're aware that you won. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Knowing is half the battle. But then we will ship it to you free of charge. No worries about shipping and handling, none of that. I remember when I was a kid watching all the stuff where they talk about free this and free that, just pay shipping and handling. And there's still a lot of that goes on. So ours is definitely going to be, we'll cover all expenses. We've got a beautiful shirt design with our logo on it. It's got some really cool details to it. And we want to make sure that as we grow, we're keeping the people who are helping us grow at the front of our identity, because it'll be you who will help us grow. And we do all different kinds of apparel. So it's not going to be a shirt that you won't ever want to wear. It won't be a shirt that you'll want to just use to change the oil as a drop cloth, or washing your hands, or pulling out the dipstick. I think they're pretty sweet looking anyhow. And we've got all sizes, so don't worry about size. When we do our drawing and contact the winner, just your size, address, and phone number is all we're going to get from you. The phone number, we're not going to use it for anything. We're not going to sell it. We just need it when we ship. They want a phone number. We're actually working with our postal provider here to see if we can skip that step, just because I would not like it if I had to provide my phone number for something I want for free. I would be questioning why they need my phone number just to send me something. So we're working to get that moved, but right now it is one of the things that we will need. And it doesn't need to be a cell phone. It can be a landline, whatever. Yeah, so the base on this, like I said, I was thinking about it a lot today. I grew up in Wyoming, and wintertime there, we always compared to the tundra. And because it's wintertime there, I've got some family still there, and when I talk to them, I mean, it's definitely something that they're having to scrape windows and watching for when it snows, checking drifts, shoveling, slippery roads, all of that stuff. So I was thinking about today, wouldn't it be cool to have a more tundra feel? So a lot of times on these bigger bases, I tend to use different elements like Hurst Arts blocks and put in some elements to kind of give it scale, as well as just make the base interesting. So initially that's what I was going to do, is put the giant moving around some elements of ruins, and of course give it a snowy look. You're starting to see some of that definition now. Much better. Much better. My goal is to get as much done on this as possible so that we can start to attach the arms, but we'll see. And of course that back component, but we will see. We will see. So here I'm just going in with white, and just on the most highest points I am going to add just bright white. And like I said, I know it doesn't show it as well on camera here. When you see the photo, once we're done with this bad boy and we put a photo, we've got a photo that we're going to put up that shows him unfinished. And we're going to put that right next to the finished Mini. That way you can see where we've come from and where we got to. And hopefully stick around for the journey on the next Mini that we do. So when we put on that bright white on the highest points, it just really makes that kind of yellowish color in the linen white. Of course, it pushes it in to the texture. And then with the khakis underneath, pushes those even further into the shadow. Such a good effect. Up a little heavy-handed there. I'll have to clean that up. We want this just edging. And we're just experimenting with some settings on camera, where to place the camera as part of it, to where we can still paint and see what we're painting. Because generally, I am where the camera is in relation to the Mini that I'm painting. So I'm going to do some edging here, just to pop those highest bits out from that fur. I suppose on this here you could really dry brush it as well. We're doing, I mean, just that edging alone is very similar to what we're doing, or to what a dry brushing would be. So I guess you could call this almost dry brushing. We're just not doing a full dry brush technique. But looking, I mean, especially down lower, where those shadow colors are, I hope that's coming in good. I know it's challenging with that manila envelope down, but I found that the matte I normally use is white, and it just washed everything out. So you'll see, because we're doing this and calling it live, we're not going to edit it. We're going to try different things. You'll be along for the ride as we find the secret to success on this. Of course, your opinions are definitely welcome. I've looked at a lot of different painting videos with tutorials and other painters in the industry. Shoshi, one of my inspirations. Quite a few, actually. Twitch has a lot. So we'll keep playing their secrets of the successes. We're going to just try to mirror and see if it does us justice as well. See if we can't make it work. But we're just taking it bit by bit. That's pretty decent. There again, we've gone up to white. I think the back shows it the best just because we've got the deepest shadows there. Because it kind of curves around, we put the deepest shadows kind of down and low. But pretty decent, I think, for tabletop use. I think that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Now I should go through and do these straps just so I can get them complete. However, my next step after I finish all the fur, because we've got the boots to do yet, my thought was, depending on time again, because I know these tend to go quite a while because I can paint for a long time, I think what I'm going to try to do actually is we'll finish the fur. I'm going to stop the video and then we'll start it up again for the next part. And let me know in the comments what you think, what your preference is. Would you rather have longer videos of painting, or would you rather have them a little shorter and more easily to watch in a shorter period of time? And then, of course, once we find out what people like the best, that's what we're going to do. We just want to make sure that we're giving content that's enjoyable, hopefully interesting, and inspiring. If you've thought of doing mini painting, I'd love to hear from you and see some of your work. Post a picture down in the comments. I'd love to see what you're working on. Another interesting thing too is to look at progression. So if you've got a photo of a mini that you've painted a while ago, and then a mini that you've painted more recently, show me your progress. I'd love to see it. If you're looking at getting into miniature painting, I definitely happy to help where I can. I can tell you that Reaper Minis, again, they're not a sponsor of mine. They are not a sponsor. So when I tell you that I like something, you're going to know that it's just because I like it. But Reaper Miniatures has some Learn to Paint kits that are really awesome. I actually would say if you know somebody who's interested in the hobby of just role-playing games or painting or anything like that, Christmas is just around the corner. A Learn to Paint kit can be a fantastic gift. And maybe something that you and someone can share together. Look at that progress. What we got done is all of those little golden coins. And then the fur, we can stick a fork in that. We are done. So additionally, I did prep up some stuff to be able to work on some of the more details around the studs on the belt and the skirt. Once those studs are done, at that point, we've got these leather straps, and then everything else is in the head, the axe, and then assembly. We've got these back components to do, which are primered, but they did not stick in the blue tack, so I've got to just do a quick wash and then blue tack them again, then we'll paint those prior to assembly. But I think we're going to pause there for now, and then I'm going to start again, and I'm in the mood, so I'm just going to keep painting, but I'll make it into another video. They may both post on the same day. I couldn't guarantee you. We'll see how it happens over the weekend. Of course, we post our painting every Saturday, so it depends on when I get done. But we'll stop there for now and pick up here on the next video. Hope you're enjoying the Reaper Frost Giant raw painting. Thanks for watching our video. We hope that you enjoyed it. and we'd love to have you subscribe. Feel free to hit that button if you care to get notifications for when we post new content. Leave your comments below and help us answer the question of where will your adventures take you. Enjoy.